yes, welcome back to my channel, and welcome to a very exciting reading vlog, which I know I say a lot, but it is very exciting because Katie is here.
Hello! Hello! I am here.
She is here. Or am I here? Because...
Actually, the real question is, are any of us here?
Anyways...
Chew on that for a while.
Chew on that. I am obviously hanging out at Katie's, which is one of my favorite places to be. And while I don't have any like solid reading plans for this video, I thought I would just kind of like take it by ear. I am in the middle of Dungeon Crawler Carl number 6. Listen, I know I said that I wouldn't vlog anymore about Dungeon Crawler Carl and that I would be finished with the series in like a couple weeks. But then my hyperfixation for K-pop Demon Hunters took over and I listened to the soundtrack nonstop for 3 weeks and like nothing else. So Carl,
to the best of us. You're not streaming your idol. What are you doing?
Stan Saja boys, what can we say?
I am part of the pride.
So Carl took a little bit of a back seat.
And if you guys like K-pop Demon Hunters, might I recommend this beautiful, stunning art piece done by Cassandra Lynn. Ugly Barrow Studios. Oh my god, you're so right.
It's literally printed on the piece too.
In case you're interested, your copy will not be bent like mine is.
She was a little busted, okay? Oh, like that was it. No.
Guys, look at this. Oh my god, the colors, the gradient.
I have a limited amount of these prints if you want it. Speaking of K-pop Demon Hunters, that was it. Anyways, I need to have you just promote my shop for me. This is great.
Yeah, you're doing a pretty crap job, but like I'm out here just like, oh my god, guys. Prince, links below.
Anyways, Katie and I are going yarn shopping because guess who's starting yet another star blanket?
You'll never guess.
You'll never guess. I'm gonna make a nice autumnal fall blanket. I'm very excited to pick out the colors. I'm kind of bad with colors. It's a work in progress, okay? Me and color theory are constantly fighting. But Katie, on the other hand,
that's what I'm here for.
She is my personal color consultant shopper.
Yeah.
So we're gonna do a little bit of yarn shopping, and then
of course,
anything
I know, it's how to pick an autumnal color palette.
Indeed.
I don't know much else.
Queen of Fall over here, okay? Like who better qualified than Katie?
Literally nobody.
And then of course we're gonna do some book shopping because when Cass and Katie are together, it's just inevitable.
It feels wrong not to go book shopping.
Exactly. So a little peruse at half price, and hopefully there I'll find a book that I can read in this vlog. We'll see. But without further ado, let's go shopping.
Let's get into it.
We have returned from our book shopping trip, and I actually bought some books. If you don't know, I've gone to a couple of bookstores lately and walked out empty-handed multiple times, which I was scared.
Vibes.
Very weird vibes, indeed. But I did find 2 books, one being a hard copy of A Gathering of Shadows by V.E. Schwab with the old cover. Stellar. I'm so excited to have my hands on this. I do still have to find, obviously, like the first and third, but Miss Delilah Bard on the cover of this one. Love her. She's such a queen. And then I did find a book that I will be reading in this vlog, and it's Breath of the Dragon by Shannon Lee and Fonda Lee. Now, I did read Jade City by Fonda Lee, and I didn't love it. It had nothing to do with the writing or the characters or anything like that. It was just the urban fantasy setting. But I'm so excited about this book. The concept sounds incredible, and while I was reading reviews on Goodreads, I did a little skim, and there was this one review, and they said, this is like a love letter to martial arts, and if you're not a fan of martial arts or fight scenes, like, you will not like this book. And I was like, well, I need to break it to everybody, but I love both of those things. I know it is a YA, but I still feel like it'll be good. This book follows June, and he wants to train as a warrior, but he's forbidden to do so by his father, thanks to him lacking, like, some magical power. What's it called? He's not a breath marked, born with a patch of dragon scales and blessed with special abilities like his twin. So he's banned from becoming a warrior, but it's something that he really wants to do. And I feel like it's definitely going to be like a coming of age story and overcoming, I guess, that obstacle of like not having magical abilities, but still wanting to fight and become a warrior. I'm very excited. I'm so excited for like the martial arts. On the back, there's so many mentions of Bruce Lee. I'm just so excited. I also love the fact that I bought a book and I'm going to read a book in the same vlog, in the same week. Kind of a crazy concept. I know many of us have never experienced such a high. And then, moving on to more important things, yarn. I finally settled on a color palette, and when I tell you that this took so long.
Guys, we were there for so long.
It was a constant, like, how about this one? No, swap that one out. How about this? No, hate that too. Okay, try this one. And the yarn aisle wasn't that big. Like, there was a lot of colors, but not like an overwhelming amount. And yet it still took quite a long time to settle. But look at the colors. Aren't they spectacular? I am so excited to see how the Star Blanket turns out with this color palette. I don't have any plans to read for the rest of today. I mean, never say never. Katie and I really are just playing this trip by ear and what we feel like.
Whatever.
But we did start watching Young and Hungry together, and Katie is in the middle of a knitting project, and obviously I need to start my Star Blanket. So we will be doing a bit of some cozy crocheting, some cozy fiber arts.
Some cozy fiber arts.
Very excited about that. But I just wanted to give you the update of the haul, the book haul and the yarn haul, of course, and say that we finally have a little bit of a TBR for this vlog, being Breath of the Dragon and Carl. Still Carl.
Always
But
Carl.
the amount of headspace that Carl takes up is just unbelievable these days. But that is my little update for you all. Hello, I have a bit of an update for you, an actual reading update for you, but first, the priority goes to showing off my star blanket because I've made substantial progress on it. Look at it!
Ta-da!
It's giving fall. I am very obsessed with the color palette. I'm very happy with how things are turning out, and I would work more on it, but someone apparently crocheted too much. I crocheted too close to the sun, guys. And my finger is so swollen. Just my pinky is so swollen. So instead of holding the hook like a normal person, I had to like hold the hook in between my pinky and ring finger to continue crocheting, which I could technically still do, but I feel like that's pushing it a little bit too much. And considering the fact that my hand is my livelihood because I'm an artist, perhaps I should rest it. The blanket will have to wait, unfortunately. Maybe come tomorrow I can do a little bit more work on it depending on how it feels, but I'm very, very sad about it. It was hurting and I was like, oh, it looks a little swollen, but maybe it's not too bad. And I was trying to put my ring on this morning and I was like, oh no, like I couldn't get it off. Moving on from my finger pain onto a much more pressing and important matter, which is I did start Breath of the Dragon. I am on page 50, chapter 7. I am having so much fun with this book so far. I didn't think that I would enjoy it like straight off the bat like I did. It starts off with a 10-year flashback when two aspects come and visit June's home, and aspects basically are these like trained warriors that are breath marked, which means that they were kind of given a gift from a dragon. And June and Sai are identical twins and they're 6 years old at this point, but Sai is breath marked and June is not. So these aspects are here to take Sai away to train him to become the warrior, to become aspects himself. But June really wants to go. I mean, they're twins, they go everywhere together, they're identical in nearly every way except for the fact that June is not breath marked. So he goes and shows off like his martial arts ability to kind of prove that, look, he can go too. Except for in the East, martial arts is banned unless you are an aspect and you are trained, to kind of keep some sort of peace. Because they broke this law, the family is separated, so Sai and his mother go into the East and go into the palace to train as the warrior, while June and his father are banished to the West, on the opposite side of the snake wall. They're banished for a period of 5 years and then they can return. But what ends up happening is the East and West, the tension kind of reaches a boiling point and the snake wall is shut down. No one can cross to either side. So now June and his father are stuck in the West. But the difference between the East and the West is the West actually celebrates martial arts. And there's this big competition that June wants to be a part of. And now we're following his journey to enter that competition, even though his father does not approve, since martial arts is what got them banished from the East in the first place. And in a way, he's still trying to prove to the East, even though they can't return, that he did like give up martial arts in order to return to his family. So that's where our story starts out. We've gotten a couple of long fight scenes, which have been really, really good. I, like I said in the intro, love martial arts. I'm a martial artist myself. I'm not like great at it, but I did jujitsu for a little over a year and a half, and then I've been doing taekwondo for almost a year as well. So it's been fun to practice different disciplines. I feel like if I move again, depending on like what happens, I might pick up a different martial arts. It just depends. I just enjoy them all. I am gonna sit down and do a little bit more reading. Katie's over there doodling away on her iPad, and I'm gonna sit here and yeah, she's here. I'm sure you've heard some of her remarks that
Amazing
I'm still
commentary.
Oh yeah, she really elevates the experience of this vlog. So,
So
but if not, let me know in the comments, and then I can you know, beat her up for you guys, you know.
you can re-upload the vlog without any of me in it.
That is the plan, to do a little bit more reading. I didn't want to put it down last night, but someone wanted to go to bed. No, I'm kidding.
You told me you were gonna do a little bit of light reading, and then whenever I wanted to go to sleep, you would. Don't try and front for the camera.
No, but I didn't really want to put it down, but I was, you know, I was a little bit sleepy. But I'm very excited to dive back into it, maybe make some more progress. I don't know how much progress, but let's get to reading. There's a map. It is quite a bit later, and as you saw, Katie and I decided to do just a little bit more of book shopping because we went out to Daiso actually to pick up some stickers. We got some revolving sushi, and while we were in the area, Katie was like, there's another half-price books around here, and I was like, well, I can't say no to that. So I did end up picking up just one more book, which was The Republic of Thieves by Scott Lynch, and it is like a pristine copy, and I got it for like $8, which was very, very exciting. This is the third book in the Lives of Locke Lamora Gentleman's Bastard series, and I have the first one. Have I read it yet? No, but I couldn't pass up picking up a pristine copy of the third book, and I feel like I'm really gonna enjoy this series, even though I know a lot of people say read the first book and have it just like act as a standalone. But the second one has a boat on the cover, and I'm supposed to not pick up the second one? Let's all be real with ourselves here, okay? And then while we were at half price, I also picked up Top Gun because I recently watched it, and Top Gun Maverick a couple months ago, I think the beginning of summer, and I have been thinking about it nonstop. I loved it so much that I decided I needed physical media of it. So here we are. And I don't have any streaming services that like I pay for. I'm like borrowing everybody's. So I never know what platform it's on and whether or not I have access to said streaming service. So physical media, you know, gotta make its comeback. And then I did buy just 2 sticker sheets from Daiso, which honestly is pretty tame for me. I've gone feral at Daiso before, so just 2 was kind of impressive. One was this like Halloween sticker sheet, which is super duper cute, and then one is just like some gold accents. Always love adding some gold accents and anything shiny to my journal. Always a fun time. And now for the moment you've all been waiting for, with bated breath, I'm sure. Breath of the Dragon, an update. I have flew through this since we got back from book shopping. I'm on page 224. I have just a little bit over 100 pages left, and I am stressing. Things are going down. So June is at the tournament competing, but there was a surprise rule change to how the tournament was supposed to play out. And I thought it would go a certain way. It didn't go quite the way I thought, but then the way it did go also stressed me out. And then the matches have been stressing me out, but they've also been really good. Like I said, the fight scenes are stellar. Love it. But I am so nervous. We've already had a death, but not in the way you may think. And it's also the saddest death they could have done and how they did it. I'm stressing. I also didn't know until Katie informed me that this is a duology, a planned duology, because this is a new release. Since it's the first of a planned duology, I know things are probably going to end on a bit of a cliffhanger, but I am still having so much fun with this book, even though I'm literally so stressed. I actually paused in the middle of one of the matches that are going on because I needed a moment, and I wanted to do a little update for you all before finishing off the book because I feel like I'm just gonna fly through the rest of this. June has grown on me a lot. I feel like he's started to mature. He really did start out as a very like spunky, headstrong, and arrogant teenage boy, as teenage boys tend to be. His training on his journey to the capital has really started to mature him, and then a significant event that occurred like during the tournament has kind of like snapped him into the reality of kind of realizing that things are much bigger than him and how his actions can have bigger consequences, and how, you know, again, like not everything is just about like him and winning this tournament, but there are a lot of factors at play and things that have been revealed. And I just don't know where it's going because every theory that I've had have just been wrong, like completely wrong. And they just go a complete different direction than I was anticipating, but I'm still having a grand old time. Like I said, probably gonna finish up this book either tonight or tomorrow. Definitely while I'm still here at Katie's, but we have something very important to do tonight, Katie and I.
The most important of plans.
Indeed. We're having a little movie night. Okay, last night we rewatched K-Pop Demon Hunters.
Stunning.
Stellar experience.
True.
It is honestly
Join the pride!
It is honestly a tragedy that you will never get to hear Katie and I's version of all of the songs, because
Literally.
take our word for it.
All of them except for Golden.
Except for
I
Golden.
said what I said.
But tonight we are watching a Twilight parody called Vampires Suck. And I have been thinking about this movie for months because the second I knew that it existed and discovered its existence, I was like, Katie and I have to watch this together.
It's time.
And the moment has finally arrived. That is the plans for the rest of the night, but I might do like a touch more reading before we do that. We're just kind of like taking it by ear with what we're doing, but having a grand old time with this one, truly. It is actually a couple days later and I did finally finish Breath of the Dragon, and I did end up giving it a 4.5. It was quite the stellar time. Truly, throughout the entire book, I enjoyed all of the characters, all the fight scenes. The world building was honestly phenomenal.
Hey.
Here Katie is. The world building was also spectacular. I'm just excited to get a little bit more into it, especially with the magic system in the second book because of how things left off. I'm sorry. I'll be back. Book 2 should definitely explore more on the other side of the wall and how the magic works over in the east. Obviously, things did not end up the way that June thought they would, and it really is a little heartbreaking, but I'm so excited to see the continuation and finale of his journey in book 2. There's like nothing announced about it, only the fact that it will exist eventually, but I do think that Fonda Lee did such a phenomenal job, and for a YA, I loved it. I feel like I haven't loved a YA as much as I loved this one in a hot second, so being able to enjoy one, just a fabulous time. With the fight scenes, something that I love when it comes to martial is that there are just so many different techniques, types of fighting, both with weapons, unarmed, grappling. You have Taekwondo, you have karate, you have Tai Chi. There are just so many different forms that you can practice, and they all have their strengths and weaknesses. And then being able to be cross-trained in them make you like a better warrior and a better martial artist in the case of just like real world. So seeing all the different styles, how June used to train versus how he ended up being at the end, kind of controlling his anger, controlling his temper, understanding his breath. It was just it was such a phenomenal book, and I'm so happy that I loved it, and I am very excited for the second book to come out. I'm hoping it'll be sometime in 2026. I also have some thoughts about the movies that we watched, and then I'll show you my updates on my blanket because we went a little crazy, I will say. So we watched Vampire Suck, which was like the 2010 Twilight parody movie. It was something. It really had a lot of like 2010 humor where I was like, okay, this is happening. But it had like a few moments that were just like so funny. But the most disrespectful part about the entire movie was the fact that we never got like a baseball scene. I'm like, how are you gonna make a Twilight parody and not remake the Twilight baseball scene? So a little sad about that. And then last night, because we watched the vampire movie 2 nights ago, last night we had to do a little bit of a palate cleanse. It's been a little like miss hit with our movies that Katie and I have been watching this trip. We decided to end off on a high note watching Pride and Prejudice because I had never seen it before. Katie really enjoys the movie and I didn't think that I would love it as much as I did. I'm not one for classics that often, especially like classic adaptations. I don't think I've seen like any. But oh my goodness, I loved it. I'm like, I see myself rewatching this at some point. It was phenomenal. The angst between Mr. Darcy and Lizzie, stellar. I had such a fun time watching it, truly. Now for the blanket. I did it again, guys. I cannot be stopped. Here is how she is looking. I did have to go out and buy more yarn because I finished off most of the skeins that I was using prior. I cannot be stopped. I'm addicted to making star blankets. It's fine. But look how stunning the colors are. Are they or are they not stunning? I do believe that they are. Today is unfortunately my final day with Katie. We actually just filmed the first line challenge, so you should check out that video. It is something. It was a little rough, I'm not gonna lie, but it was still, of course, a stellar time. When Katie comes back in the room, I'll be sure to have her say goodbye to all of you. There is probably a little bit more reading that I'll do in the vlog. I don't think there'll be that much more reading. I would love to finish Dungeon Crawler Carl 6. Whether that happens or not is still up in the air, and I don't know if there's any other books in particular that I want to pick up that I'll be able to pick up in the vlog. But I don't want to end it on just one book. We'll see what else I end up reading at home, but for now, we shall wait for Katie.
Hey!
More like bye.
Oh, bye.
Katie's back in the room!
I'm here!
To say our farewells.
Schwa.
Schwa. Not the schwa.
Schwa. Schwa. Schwa. It just felt thematically appropriate.
Naturally. Yeah.
We watched 2 whole seasons of Young and Hungry.
Yeah.
We were here. That's a lot of episodes.
Did you enjoy it?
I did.
Yeah. She hates one of the characters,
and
he's one of
on
the main characters.
Nerves. Don't get me started.
So we won't. We will say goodbye instead.
You're not here for my review of this random TV show.
You are here for her review of My Company.
Oh, it was so stunning. One of my favorite visits we've had, I think. It's just been so chill. We literally sat for like 6 days and did nothing, but we did it together.
Yeah. We did a little bit of shopping. You know, we did go out.
We did do something.
And we have evidence of that. Yeah. So no one can argue.
You know.
You know.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's been so fun.
Yay.
I had such a nice time.
Me too. But we have to say farewell.
What was me?
It has been quite a few days since I last talked to y'all. I got back from Katie's, and then that very same day my brother flew in to come visit me. We hung out for the weekend, and then it was like go, go, go on catching up on work. So not much time for reading, and also I just wasn't really sure what else I wanted to read in this vlog. I know that I mentioned in the beginning that I was in the middle of Eye of the Bedlam Bride, which is Dungeon Crawler Carl book 6. Yeah, book 6. And unbeknownst to me, I thought the 7th one was already out because Audible played a fast one on me, and I ended up like purchasing it, but it didn't say it was a pre-order, so I thought it was already released. But good news is it literally comes out tomorrow. So when I do finish 6, I don't have to wait for 7, which is very nice. However, I'm at a little bit of like a pause on the series, and I couldn't exactly pinpoint why it was so hard for me to like continue at this point. And then I was watching one of Sydney's vlogs, and she was talking about how she didn't want there to be no more Carl content for her to consume. And then it struck me that that is part of the reason why it was like harder for me to like pick it up once I got back, because I'm listening to it via audio. But I did go to Pottery. The Pottery that I filmed was actually an open studio. I had been meaning to go to an open studio literally since the beginning, but today I was like, I'm making it a point that I'm going to make it to open studio and make a couple things, because I got some tools that I want to experiment with texturing. And then I also was trying to do some sgraffito, which is basically when the clay gets leather hard, you put a coat of underglaze on and then you like scrape through it. And originally when I was working on these pieces, they were like leather hard, so I could easily like scrape through them, and there wasn't really any chips because the underglaze had just dried. But now, like a week later, they're getting like harder to carve through, and the experience was a 0 out of 10, quite frankly. So I had to make some new pieces and actually carve them when they are leather hard. But sorry for my pottery rant. I just have been obsessed with pottery. It is one of my new favorite hobbies, but I don't know how much I can keep up with it because I do pay for classes, and I can, like I say, go for open studio times. That is manageable, but I don't think I'll ever get to a point where I'm buying my own wheel and like reclaiming all my own clay and putting all the work that goes into like a pottery hobby. I kind of like just like paying, getting the classes, and then the studio does like all the work for me. So pottery rant aside, let's talk about Eye of the Bedlam Bride as well, because like I said, I had a little bit of a pause in between when I like got up to the point that I did to when I picked it back up, which was today. I was up to chapter 20, and then at Pottery I listened to 6 chapters, so I'm on chapter 26 now, and I'm enjoying being back in it. But I will say this is probably my least favorite in the whole entire Carl series, which makes me really sad. And it's not just because my favorite character is like nowhere to be seen. Okay, I know where she's at, but she's not a big part of the plot in this book, which makes me really sad, at least up to this point. And that's Samantha, in case anyone is wondering. I love Samantha so much. I wanted to go back and like reread the chapters where we met her, and then when she was acting a fool last book. Oh, peak behavior. Samantha's such an icon, truly. But like I said, she's gone-ish. It's a whole thing. Obviously, I'm not going to get into spoilers, but I'm not the biggest fan of how this floor is working. It's kind of an ode and like love letter, it feels like, to trading cards and like, I think it was Yu-Gi-Oh! I don't remember. I think he mentioned like a specific like card game that like Carl had compared it to. And I can't remember which one it was, but it made me think of like Yu-Gi-Oh! Where they have like decks of cards and they can like capture different creatures and like put them in your deck, and I don't find it interesting personally. It's not my favorite like combat and like world mechanic, but luckily it is like just for this floor, and then things will switch up again. I just find even like the training when they're like practicing using the decks and whatever, I'm just like, can we be done with this scene? Like I'm kind of over it a little bit. So that's a little unfortunate, but there's still like really interesting things happening, don't get me wrong. It's just not as captivating for some reason as the other Carl books. We're gearing up for one of the biggest floors we've been leading up to this point for book 7. And I'm just really excited to see, you know, the rest of the book, how it's going. However, I don't know if I'm going to finish Carl in this vlog. I have no idea. But I didn't want to just like read one book for you all and then peace out. Although, don't blame me if in the future that's what you get, because I'm trying my best to make videos for you guys. And sometimes I don't have like time to read like 2-3+ books per video, but we're here and that's what matters. So I actually purchased this book, and it should be here tomorrow, and that is The Ornithologist Field Guide to Love by India Holton. Now, Katie and I were discussing, we're doing another like Arkansas trip later in the fall, and it's become like a little tradition that we drive over there together and we pick a little audiobook to listen to. And while discussing what audiobook we wanted to listen to, she had recommended The Geographer's Map to Romance. and I'm really excited to read that book. It is on my 2025 TBR, but I wanted to read the first one in the series, even though they don't really have like too much to do with one another. It's like the romance companion series situation. I purchased it. It should be here tomorrow, so I'm excited to dive into that, but I thought I would give you the little bit of the TBR for the rest of the video, which is probably just that book and maybe a little bit more Carl, depending on how much time that I have to actually like sit down and listen to it. And also lately, I have just been in such like a music mood. Sabrina Carpenter's new album came out recently, and Katie and I streamed a bunch of their songs, and I've been listening to a bunch of their songs again on loop. And I haven't burnt myself out of the album yet. Give it a couple more days and then maybe I will and I can get back to Carl. But for now, the hyperfixation is listening to her new album, which I actually did not like it at all at first. And then, you know, her music is one of those things where you listen to it and you're like, nah, and then you listen to it like a few more times and you're like, heck yeah, like actually this is kind of a vibe. So that's where we're at. That's my little bit of an update. My mom's actually coming to visit me in a few days, which is very exciting. And then fingers crossed, I should be moving in exactly a week. And or at least like signing my apartment in exactly a week. I'm a little frustrated because the apartment that I had toured and like the specific unit that I wanted to apply for, like I would have applied that same day, but I asked like the leasing person a question that he didn't know the answer to. So then I had to wait over the weekend for them to get back to me on Monday. And then by the time they got back to me, they're like, oh, sorry, like someone else got approved for the unit. And I was like, great. So then the next unit that is like the most similar to the one that I had toured isn't available until next week. But it's fine. This week is maybe my last week of doing Taekwondo, which is a little sad because like I said, I am moving and I'm moving further away from the gym that I go to where it would be just like too much of a drive. So it's probably gonna be like my last week doing it at this gym, my last belt test, which I will of course put in the vlog. I feel like I have to, especially because I read Breath of the Dragon, which is so like martial arts focused. I'm like, what a perfect vlog to show you all my belt testing. I just like reviewed the Korean terms that I have to know, and they're locked in there, which is good because it was kind of a long list that I needed to memorize. And then I have practiced every day for the rest of the week. My mom and I are going to Universal at some point together. So it is kind of a busy week, but I'm just trying to take it one day at a time, not overwhelm myself and not get like too stressed, which is, you know, nearly impossible when you're dealing with like moving. But it is the first day of fall. I didn't even realize it until I was driving home and I was like, today's the 22nd. I'm like, it's not the first day of fall. And then I got home and I was like, Google, is today the first day of fall? And they were like, yes, it is. I haven't done anything for it. Oh, as you can see, my crochet blanket, my little star blanket back there is looking pretty good. I have probably 5 more rows that I'm going to try to add to it. I played the massive game of Yarn Chicken yesterday with one of my colors because I bought 2 skeins of every color and I'm not going to buy a 3rd skein just to like finish a row. So I won that game of Yarn Chicken. I had literally like a single strand left. It was phenomenal. Enough rambling. I feel like I'm getting off on topics that are not relevant, but I will definitely update you when I start the Ornithologist Field Guide to Love. It is actually a couple days later now, and I actually can't even show you any progress on my blanket because, as you saw at the end of the last B-roll, I had to frog all of the work that I did because I realized that I was crocheting in the wrong direction. So, you know, a nice cozy night of crocheting turned into me just getting frustrated and having to take everything out. But it's fine because I finally received my book in the mail, which is of course The Ornithologist Field Guide to Love. And I have actually started said book, which is very exciting. I am on page 162, which is in the middle of chapter 13. And it started out not rough necessarily, because in the beginning we are following Beth, and she is an assistant to, I think it's like Hippolyta. They're on the hunt for this bird and they almost have it captured, and then Devin Lockley swoops out of nowhere and steals the bird right from their grasps. So we're kind of introduced to these characters, and they are all very intriguing characters and very dedicated to their job of, you know, ornithology. And there's this competition that's announced, and the winner gets tenure, and it becomes a whole thing, and everyone's trying to sabotage people left and right, like buying up all the train tickets and like stealing train tickets, and it's just one thing after the other. But after all this chaos, suddenly Devin and Beth are kind of thrusted together on this adventure to find this bird. And they each have their own like motivations, obviously, for, you know, finding the bird. Beth, you know, is so determined to get away from Devin and, you know, strike out on her own, but also like she kind of really likes Devin at the same time. And then Devin is just absolutely smitten with Beth. The humor in this book is very unique. It's unlike anything I've read before, but it is right up my alley, honestly. It's just so silly goofy, if we're being so honest. One of my favorite chapters that I knew like happened because I remember Katie talking about it when she had read this book, but I completely forgot about, and I could not stop giggling last night reading it. So they go to an inn, and the innkeeper's like, there's no rooms available. And then Beth kind of talks him into like giving them a room, and the innkeeper goes, okay, but letting you know there is a bed problem. And so, you know, you expect the typical trope of there just being one bed and the characters, you know, are forced to sleep next to one another, or you know, the man offers to take the floor, right? The typical like cliche trope of like the one bed trope, right? We know it, we love it. However, they walk into the room and there's 7 beds crammed into this room, like stacked upon one another. Like the bed problem is the fact that there's too many beds in this room. And I, like I said, could not stop giggling. It was so ridiculous. There have been so many instances of that sort of humor in this book. Devin and Beth got split up from like the main group who were traveling, and they keep hijacking different modes of transportation, but then things just keep going wrong. But Beth is so polite. They hijack this boat full of Frenchmen, and Devin, you know, pulls out his pistol and he's like, all right, we're hijacking you, whatever. And Beth is like, we are so sorry for the inconvenience. We really appreciate you like taking us and catching us up to this boat. Oh my goodness, how is your family? And just befriends all of them. And it has just been a hysterical time, and I cannot wait to finish the book and see how their adventures end. And the romance has so much yearning to it because it takes place back in the 1890s, so you know, everything is just a scandal. But there are a group of people that are kind of like controlling the narrative between Beth and Devin to kind of get eyes on newspapers and this ornithology like competition. So there's just a lot of drama. The characters are so fun, and I can't wait to see their romance continue to develop because they both are smitten with one another, but neither will admit that they are, because Beth is used to being independent and just, you know, going out on her own and having her little bubble, and she doesn't want to really trust people. And Devin is just smitten with her and finds Beth fascinating, and their dynamic has just been so much fun to read about. So the plan is to finish this book and then wrap up this vlog for you all can see it, which is very exciting. Obviously, love when I can get vlogs out for you guys, but the next bit of B-roll is actually something I mentioned earlier in the vlog, which was my Taekwondo belt testing. I managed to test for my blue stripe, and it was the last test at my gym because I am moving, which is very sad, but I thought I'd, you know, feature a little bit of my belt testing because it kind of matched the theme of the earlier book that I read in this vlog. So that is what you'll see next, and then I will be back to wrap up the vlog and give you my thoughts on the Ornithologist Field Guide to Love. This book single-handedly might be one of the most ridiculous books I have read in my entire life, but I had so much fun with just this utterly ridiculous book. I don't know how else to say. Ridiculous, I feel like, is really the word to sum up this book, but in a good way. I can't say this is the book for everyone. The prose are so dense, like insanely dense. There are a lot of jokes that sometimes feel like the author is trying very hard, but if India Holton's humor lines up with your humor, you will have so much fun. So much fun. I ended up giving it 4 stars because while I did love Devin and Beth's relationship, they were like the pinnacle of the story. I wanted more of their moments. They were obviously the best part of the book. The rest of the plot kind of was like for me, and then some points did get like too ridiculous, a little too silly. In the end, reading about Devin and Beth's relationship literally had me giggling and kicking my feet. They were so cute, and I'm so excited to pick up the Geographer's Map to Romance because we got to meet Gabriel briefly in this book, and I'm just so excited to dive into that. I think it's gonna be an equally fun time, and hopefully that book will include more things that I know about, like in terms of geography compared to like birds. I really tried to at least have like the slightest of interest in birds because Beth and Devin were so bloody passionate about their birds, but every time they would go on about whatever, I was like, cute. What are they saying? I don't know what they're saying. I couldn't care much about the birds, but their romance was so fun. It is a rom-com, and a historical rom-com. Is this like a new like subgenre that I found that I just adore? It was a delightful time, truly. I'm so happy that I found time to sit down and read this book and share my thoughts with you all. Like I said, it's not a book for everyone. You do have to kind of push through the first few chapters, I would say, to kind of test the waters. I didn't start loving this book until Devin and Beth were like, you know, thrusted into the situation that they were, like manipulated into, you know, having to work together. It's marketed, I think, as like rivals to lovers, but the rival portion doesn't really take up much, if any, of the book because it's said that Devin immediately falls for Beth and finds her so fascinating. So he's whipped from the start, and then Beth, you know, oh, handsome man, whatever, and goes from there. But it was so fun, guys. It was, I can't even express to you how much ridiculousness is in this book. It is truly just a silly goofy time, like I've said over and over and over again, to the point where I am getting ridiculous. So those are my thoughts on The Ornithologist Field Guide to Love. I am so happy that I finally read an India Holton book. I had read 10 chapters into The Secret Society of whatever the super long book title is that the name escapes me, and I found that one very fun. Also a silly time with the 10 chapters that I did read, but I ended up soft DNFing it because things happened, whatever. I finally did get to read an entire India Holton book. They had me all the way until the end. Like I was there for Devin and Beth so hard. But like I said in my previous update, I am here to also wrap up the rest of this video by just briefly saying that I also read Breath of the Dragon, gave it a 4.5, loved the martial arts elements, loved this YA book. So I feel like both of these books are so good, but maybe not for everyone. Gave you my thoughts already, and obviously I visited Katie as well, which you saw, and it was probably one of our favorite trips to this date. It was a phenomenal time. Just being around Katie just is so good. You know, that's my parabatai, right? That's my best friend, and she, you know, also does YouTube. She also is a reader, and we have a lot of like common interests. Just being able to be in a room with Katie and just, you know, do our own thing, to crochet, to watch movies together, like, it is my favorite thing ever because she is my favorite person ever, and the experience was, of course, amazing, and I'm so happy that I got to share that all with you as well. Thank you so much for watching. If you have read either of these books, please let me know your thoughts, especially about India Holton's writing. I want to know if you have tried it out, read it, if you liked it, you didn't like it. Very curious to hear your thoughts about everything. But thanks again for watching, and I do really hope to see you in the next one. Toodles! Get in, bitches, we're going shopping. Is that the phrase?
Get in, loser, we're going shopping.
Get in, loser, we're going shopping. Get in, bitches.
Get in, bitch!
Get in, motherfucker, we're going shopping.
What? like let's see. Hey vlog. Green.
This isn't a metaphor.
The cadence. Not a metaphor.
You do the first, second, third floor, and I promise none of this is a metaphor.
I just want you to
Come inside.
Baby, what's mine is now
yours.
Should I start singing another one?
Oh yeah.
When did you get hot? I could look you up and down all day. When did you get hot? I don't remember the part of the chorus here. When did you get hot?
I won't be because it needs to go this way more. No, your legs are.
When did you get hot? I swear I could look you up and down all day. When did you get hot? I'm gonna look up the words so I can sing it.
Hey.
When did you get hot? I think I would remember if you had that face. I did a double take, triple take, take me back to naked twister back to your bones.
We have returned from our shopping trip.
When did you get hot? I'm done. I think I know what you were saying. When did you get hot? I swear I could look you up and down all day.
If the footage is shaky, you know who to blame. Girl!
Is it just on my face zoomed in extremely close?
It's not that close.
Really?
It's just a little bit close.
Is it my entire face?
No.
Is it literally just my mouth?
It's like from here up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I can't get it to zoom in anymore.
Oh my goodness.
You're so cute.
My lady! Candlelight dinner mention! Bye! Choreography of the cabin. At least the chorus.
Oh my god, yes. I'm so... I don't think I've ever made it this far into this.
I've never seen the whole music video. I know. Baby.
So fantastic.
Elastic. Ring ding 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 ding. Ring a ding 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 dong.
Maybe you should analyze that.
You think?
Yeah.
Come over here. Let me analyze like this.
I think I'm
Analyze with my fists.
gonna stay here.
Elastic.
Baby.
Good stuff.
They don't do it this many times.
I was gonna say, we're still going?
It's just kind of fun.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god, it filled up so nicely.
Damn.
I get the dregs.
Oh look, we can see reflections. Okay, and Katie is now gone. Poof. Where did she go? We don't know. Whoa.
You'll never find me.
Baby, 내게 반해버린 내게 왜 이래